Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at some of this crack. I don't know what that's all about, but basically let's have a look at stocks first, then Bitcoin, overview of the market, and then we'll leave it at that. We're having a bit of a bounce from the same area, the measured move of the beginning of the ascending channel. So this is the S&P basically. We started from here and we've come down, made a wick low, and then we had a bit of a bounce. We bounced into the resistance and back down again. I wouldn't say that is like bullish, to be honest with you. I wouldn't say it's also bearish either. It's basically a full measured move from the breakdown of the channel completed, right? That's basically what it is. So is there any sort of turning around momentum wise? Well, not on this 4 hourly, there's not. What about SPX? SPX not. Well, I mean, yeah, there is actually. There's one giant bull div, a single drive of giant bull div on the 4 hourly actually. So that's okay, because as much as I like the US 500, that's my preference when it comes to the trading side of things, because it's obviously a pre-market as well. This is a much better chart because the volumes are much higher. Alright, so that's reassuring. I hadn't noticed that. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so we might be looking at a decent bounce, a bounce that could take you maybe up to 5,680. Break that, well, you could even get a much bigger reversal. Because look, what we see here is no death cross. This is still bullish if we can get back above the moving averages. Let's move it over to the weekly. And our weekly is not looking great. We do have to get back above this the 50 exponential. It's only Tuesday. We've got a full week to do it and close it. All right, we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, I mean, all right. So we got the bull div at least. One drive. It's not enough normally, but it's a start. Let's face it. It is a start. Gold still rallying like a mother. Well done, gold. But let's just move it out onto crypto, because that's what we're interested in, isn't it? Really. So obviously it's following stocks. That's always the situation here. Always going to follow stocks. And if stocks have got that bounce and if stocks have got that divergence, then maybe stocks could move up, and Bitcoin ought to move up with it. We're below all moving averages at the moment, and it makes more sense to look at it on a 4 hourly. So here we go. So 4 hourly came back down to this area, bang, wiggled down again, bang, and back up to the top, bang. So we're stuck within this small, tight little range. Even the Bollinger Bands are closing in on this range itself. So it's 81,500, basically 84,000. So this is our range. Break the range one way or another, you'll get continuation down to the next area. Break to the up, you'll be looking for a death cross retest, 86,000. Break to the down, you'll be looking for a retest at the just below 80,000. Which again, 80,000 is the area, isn't it really? We're always saying 80,000 to 92, or should we say basically the range is about 78 to 92. And that's where we are still. Within that little range, that's basically it still. Right, so yeah, we lost it just like we did with stocks, and yeah, there's nothing else on this chart really that's in any way endearing. We're below all moving averages. It doesn't have the same sort of setup that stocks do, unfortunately. Let's have a look at Ethereum, because it was only last weekend that we did have that bull div, didn't we? That we saw. And it does look like it's trying to reclaim certain areas on the 4 hourly. You break this area, you're moving back up to areas lost, and then moving averages that are lost. I mean, it's wrecked actually. To be perfectly honest, it is wrecked. But the dead cat bounce, if anything, is going to be brought to us by the stock market. Let's have a look at something else, because again, Ethereum this is the difference between the total 2 and the total 3, and it's such a savage difference. You know, I own Ethereum. You know, I've got a load of it. Most of it, I'd say 90% of it, you know, I bought at the beginning of the last cycle. So it's not as bad as it sounds. You know, it's not been a millionaire starter kit, but yeah, I'm still up over 1,000% on it. But This year I did buy more, and I started scaling in at 3,000. So I mean, I was slightly disappointed with that. But looking at the total too, which is the crypto market excluding Bitcoin, Rex City, Death Cross Rex City, the weekly, below the 50, Rex City, Rex City. You actually get rid of the Ethereum aspect of the total market cap, and actually you're sitting above the 50 exponential moving average, catching a bounce from it really. So it just shows how much of a disappointment that Ethereum has been to the entire market, and maybe the market could turn around without it. We've often sought the importance of Ethereum to being able to generate an Altseason. And the Altseason, again, we look at something like the dominance chart, which is where we are right now, moving up towards the 63.5% dominance zone, where if you're going to get a nice reaction from it, possibly even an Altseason, that's where it would likely come from. And if it doesn't come from there, then, well, you're going to get the biggest Altseason of your life. But it won't be for a little while longer. You've got to make your way up towards 70 to 72% dominance. Which again, opportunities live there. Most of us, if not all of us, should have had and should have a nicely balanced portfolio. Should always have a relatively large amount of Bitcoin, predominantly your largest hodl, really. And then, when the time is right, and I mean it really does have to be right, because I've been caught out this cycle. I'm trying to rotate early, and obviously that didn't work out particularly well. But yeah, trying to rotate into altcoins. If you're going to rotate and if you have Bitcoin to rotate around the 70% dominance, well, I mean that is the millionaire starter kit kind of setup. But there is an opportunity maybe around the 63-64% dominance for that. I'm not just saying that because there's a resistance. If you look at the money flow index, it has shown us areas of major reversal towards these top areas. It's not perfect, but it does exist. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you just see where these took place from. So there's an overheated read marking a massive Altseason. Here's an overheated read marking a decent pullback into a golden cross retest. Where else did we have? We had this one. That was a decent enough Altseason. Bang, 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 and again up here, bang, 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 bang. Yeah, so it's not perfect, but we are here again. We're at an area where it could react like that. Trading is not perfect, charts aren't perfect. I'm not some kind of god figure. I'm just a normal bloke that's deciphering charts as best as I can to try and make the most out of the opportunity within the crypto market. Back in the olden days, which is literally just a few years ago, but in crypto years, that is the olden days. Back in the olden days, the dominance chart was actually really useful because it wasn't a very liquid market. So if you really wanted to make the most of it, you would rotate, and that's what we would do. But this time round, I mean, it's not really the same. There's a lot more money in crypto than there ever has been. That's obvious when you look at the market cap, or the total market cap, basically the total one. And you're like, okay, yeah, so it's a much bigger market now. There's lots of money in it, so you can sort of play with altcoins, you can play with Bitcoin. You don't need to rotate unless you want to. But back in the olden days, yeah, we were less than $1 trillion, much less than $1 trillion across the board. And so you really had to try and make the most of it. So yeah, there's an opportunity. I might even call this video Altseason is coming. If only. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. Right, that's basically it. There's a chance that we turn it around. There's going to be stocks that help us with that. And I think with the with all this mess that we're seeing with trade wars and tariffs and blah blah blah, it's hard to it's hard to trust what it is that you see. Not that we see a great deal. There could be a serious low form. I know people are talking about recession and depression and the worst economic crisis that mankind has ever seen. But remember, YouTube is a business, and clickbait is is that's the ticket price, isn't it? Really, if when people are doing window shopping, or you're not going to buy, you're not going to watch a video that just says another bland day within the market, weak signals that could justify an entry point. You're like, oh. And then you see the next video after that saying, huge economic crisis looming, beginning at this time. All right, I'll click on that one then. That sounds a little bit more appealing. So we are living in a world of extremes, and YouTube amplifies those extremes even further. So the reality is, it is a weak signal on the S&P, and it's even weaker on Bitcoin. But the charts aren't broken down. The 4-year cycle also hasn't finished. There is opportunity here, and there is also clues that an alt season might begin. And so all of that is present on the chart. So therefore, I will join the clickbaiters, and I will say, click on this video. Alt season begins in T-3 weeks and counting. Oh my god! But the reality is that, as I have explained in the video, that is it. It's there is potentially a signal that will bring the price up. There is also a reference of the money flow index reaching a serious peak on the dominance chart, where we've seen alt seasons begin in the past. Also quite close to a resistance, by the way, not quite there. So my clickbait is founded. Whether or not that's going on or not, I don't know. I'm not going to hold myself up to say I know. All I'm saying is I can see, and I've shown it to you, and you can make your own judgment, because you are just as good as me. You're a human like me. Remember, I'm just a bloke with an internet connection. There's nothing more than that. I make money out of the markets, but it doesn't make me anything special. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.